So the director of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World decided to actually take a Stephen King book and make it a more accurate adaptation of The Running Man. But I'm here to tell you guys, for a movie called The Running Man, there wasn't that much running in this movie. Let's talk about it. So 2025's The Running Man. This one tries to get closer to the book adaptation that came out in 1982 and steer away from the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1987 version. It adds the darker world building, the corrupt political side of society, the media's propaganda angle, and that uncomfortable theme of entertainment using to distract the public. But distract them from what? It even brings in more of the long walk vibes. It brings in more of the dystopian place that Stephen King has wrote about in the book. So the stuff I liked about this movie, let me start off by talking about the performances. We have Glenn Powell in this movie, and strangely enough, this is not the first time he played someone that was actually, switching up his identity and stuff to be incognito. Yeah, he has a few movies prior to this, especially the movie on Netflix called The Hitman, but this really did show more of Glenn Powell's acting chops, with the change of voices, just the change of personalities and everything. Like, he's really going all out in this movie to show that he is a great actor. And I like seeing him in stuff. And with this movie alone, I do want to see him in more stuff. And I kind of forgot how, muscular he was, body goals. Oh, and you see this Flash shirt? Yeah, I am The Running Man. Colman Domingo's in this, and his energy, it's extremely radiating. I love his attitude. He gets to flesh out his inner self and really show himself as a boss bitch. And yeah, you can take that as you want. But he was very entertaining in this, and I know he was having a blast in this movie, being the character that he was. Granted, they made him become the host of this show, and they switched the character that's actually the host for this show, who Josh Brolin plays. This was very entertaining. I was laughing, the one-liners are good, the action was actually pretty steady, and the characters were entertaining for what they were. And the movie taps into the whole Stephen King dystopia, corrupted society storyline too. It does dig deeper into the whole broken society and how they torment people just for entertainment, because anybody will do whatever for money. So they're getting humiliated, they're getting tormented, they're even getting downright killed, which is more traits that was taken from The Long Walk. Stephen King's trying to tell us something, and I hope we're willing to listen. And even if this movie isn't really amazing, but in my opinion, you guys can comment below and tell me, but I didn't really think the original film was either. It was different from this because this is closer to the book. The original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger was more so an action, more of an action type flick. And less of a man gets chased around the city type story. And that's where it kind of drifted away from the book. But this set more onto the book, and I see how come the 1987 version did not do that for its time. But it's kind of crazy to know that this book takes place in 2025, and that's where we're at right now. And who knows, this world is getting more messed up as the days go on. And where there's good, there's bad, and we'll talk about that too. The pacing in this movie was trash. I'm sorry. The setup for it dragged. This movie is 2 hours and 13 minutes long, and you feel every minute of that. From the beginning, it's dragged. Once you get to a half an hour point, it's still just on the built story portion of it. And it does flow well in the middle. The body of this movie is entertaining when it starts, but then once it gets towards the end, it starts to get a bit chaotic and starts breaking down. This does not really feel much like what Edgar Wright wants to do, because I like his other type of movies. I like Baby Driver. I wanted to see his Ant-Man movie, which he didn't get to do because I guess Kevin Feige. And he made Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. If you guys haven't checked out those movies, go check them out. I mean, I know you can't check out the Ant-Man movie because he didn't get to make his version of it. Yeah, whatever. For the type of movie this was, because it is rated R, you see slight gore and you see slight nudity, but For how this book was, this movie went very, very tame for what it is. For it being rated R, it literally can take out like 2 scenes and it'll still be like PG-13. It seems like they tried to play it safe. The stakes didn't really feel high into this film. Like, you already know what's gonna happen. The movie gets extremely predictable, and it didn't really feel as life-threatening and as like dramatic as it should have been. And spinning the block again for, you know, how dragged out it was, this movie shouldn't have been that long. It could have been a solid story with just an hour and 45 minutes of detail, because this was still longer than the original Arnold Schwarzenegger one, and you feel every minute of how long it was. The Arnold Schwarzenegger one was literally just like 101 minutes, and this was 133 minutes. So seeing that there's a 32-minute difference, and it shows because it takes its time. It had the potential to be gritty, intense, and more brutal than it is, but it kind of doesn't. But I can say it was fairly entertaining. So there's that. Like, I literally had fun with this film. It made me laugh like on multiple occasions, but this isn't something I'd like watch again. So 2025 is The Running Man. My verdict for it is I give this movie entertainment. This movie does get closer to the book than its predecessor, but that doesn't make that a good thing. The commentary on media manipulation is actually very prominent in this movie, and it does shine, but the pacing and the strange tone for it really does bring it down. And this movie being too safe kind of like destroys the real impact of what it could have been if it didn't play it safe. If it took the training wheels off, it would have been better. If you guys saw The Running Man, you guys think about it. If you guys haven't, are you guys going to? With this year being the year that a lot of Stephen King stuff has dropped, tell me what your favorite Stephen King media is that came out this year. But if you like my vibe, comment below, like and subscribe. And I'm James Hancock, signing off.